Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hey everyone, this is JT with Late Night with Cap, and it's a Wednesday night, and of course we're live and we're ready to talk about all kinds of topics tonight. Tonight is going to be full of fun stuff. We might go a little longer than expected. However, we have a fun guest coming on. But before I get started with that, just a little reminder that yes, I am live every Wednesday here at about 8:30 Central Time. Now, coming in September, there's going to be some special live shows. One might be on a Tuesday, one might be on a Monday. That's because I got some special guests coming on that I had to work around their schedule. They're that special. So also I've started a new video series on my channel called Weird News. They're just little short videos about weird news that I find that I like. Oh, maybe I'll share that with you, so you can check those out when they come out. Just make sure you hit that bell so that way they are here. Now, I have a guest that you've probably seen him around. He's a comic artist. He writes his own comic, drew his own comic. I think he colored his own comic. And he does all this with a day job. So I'm going to bring on Jason here, and he's the artist of Jupiter. So there you go. Hey, man.
Yeah, JT, thanks for having me. The first comic book I ever bought with my own money was Captain America 214. So I got a
Nice.
sentimental attachment to Captain America. So thanks for having me on the show here.
Yeah, no problem. I hear that from a lot of people where I bring them on like, hey, Captain America's like one of my favorite characters. And it's like you always hear about, Batman, Spider-Man, but you never get to hear people who say I love Captain America. It's kind of more of I guess a new thing for people, but it's good to hear people in my little age sphere or older to say, oh, I love him. I wish they would have made more of him, like they did a Batman, say a Spider-Man. So that's good to hear. I'm a big fan of his, obviously.
It's a great character because you can tell espionage stories, you can tell World War II stories, you can tell street level superhero stories, and then he's got an excuse to go off into space now and then. So as a fictional character, he's fantastic. And then obviously I think the movies did a pretty good job of kind of exemplifying his personality and things like that. So I think he's he's Marvel Comics Superman equivalent. And he's probably better because you can put him in jeopardy. I mean, he's maybe like 10 times stronger than a human being, but he's not invulnerable. So
Right.
you've got, in terms of storytelling, you can put him into jeopardy, but then he's got a he's got a noble personality, noble heart. And again, he's loyal to the dream, not the government. So he's a fantastic character.
Right. And the one movie that I think I always go to that shows that his character is Winter Soldier.
Yep.
And that is like from start to finish, where you get to really see him make those decisions that you just mentioned. Now, first Avenger of the whole series is great. It tells his story and why he, did what he did. I had Nick on, Nick Weiser, and he said that his favorite part of all those movies is when he landed on the grenade, because that really shows, he's more than just a superhero. And he'll do that right. He'll do the sacrifice for all. So, and you see that throughout all of his movies. I wish he would have got a decent fourth one, and because I feel like I think Iron Man stole his thunder on Civil War, but
I'm holding out hope that what they do is they say, you know what, we're going to tell a Captain America story where he's basically living undercover in the 50s. Or he's living under so as Chris Evans gets older, because of the way he went back in time or whatever. He's living with Peggy or whatever. So they could have him running around saying, "Oh, I know there's certain things I can't do because it'll disturb the timeline, but I see something really fishy going on over there. So I'm gonna not quite be the real Captain America, but I'm gonna go take care of business. So I think that potentially that might be a way to get Chris Evans back in the role, but to do some period pieces like a 60s, 70s, and 80s movie where Cap is kind of semi undercover. But
yeah,
we'll see.
That'd be kind of cool. That would be neat. That would be a fun movie. Did you ever see the Captain America in the 90s?
I did. I did. Yeah, that was I think it's like a rites of passage. That and the Roger Corman Fantastic Four. It's one of those rites of passage where in a more barbaric time, young men would scald themselves with burning tattoos and do all, like kung fu, walk across the hot coals. I think a lot of us sat through the Captain America 90s movie or watched the Roger Corman Fantastic Four just to prove that we could do it.
Yeah, and it was such a fun movie because he had a great costume. It kind of looked rubber, but it was so perfect. And then he did have his motorcycle, I believe, so that was always good. Beard of Liberty, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, no way Steve Rogers would just watch a guy get mugged to preserve the timeline. That's true. He probably wouldn't, unless it was like a, I don't know, like a Hydra person. Maybe it would let that happen. Let's see here. Now, we got some other people here saying hi. Miss Martin Muse, good to see you, with a hello and a rose. And then we have Nadia showing up. No D&D for me tonight means I can watch in real time. Well, cool. Good to see you in real time. And then we have Ro from the Scarif Scuttlebutt podcast. Hey, gents, chats, and fellow nerds. Yeah, good to see you. And of course, Nicole's here saying hello. And yeah, here's another quiz for you about Captain America. I didn't know we were going to go this deep, but there's another little show out there that I have watched, and it's like the Captain America serials from like the 1940s. Have you seen those?
I've only seen still photographs. And I know he's got like a pistol and so forth. I have not watched those. So let me know if I'm missing out or not.
I'm thinking about a way to like review those without getting like dinged on YouTube. But yeah, his name is not Steve Rogers. He has a pistol. He does have a shield. He does have the costume. And he's not a super soldier. He's a detective.
So supposedly Jack Kirby was in Patton's army as a scout and a rifleman, and supposedly he was away from the front on R&R in some sort of base, like trying to like recoup. And they're like, "Hey, come on down. We're gonna go watch some newsreels or whatever." And he saw this Captain America show. And he's like looking around going, I made that character. And then he, of course, didn't get any money for it. So that's one of those anecdotes that you sometimes come across where you're like, thank God we live in a time where someone like myself can self-publish and own my IP.
Yeah.
Because I cannot imagine being Jack Kirby, creating iconic characters like Captain America and then basically
being stolen.
Basically.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the older artists or the classical artists from the comic books, they had troubles with that. You see it with quite a few of them. Like nowadays, like there was a huge, legal fight with the who created Batman, right? And who gets to put the name on the movie. So yeah, it's good that there's things in place nowadays to kind of cover your tail. Now, speaking of, you keep showing it, and I would love to talk about it. You do have your own comic, like I said. You mentioned that I think you said you wrote it, you drew it, you colored it, you penciled it, lettered it.
I take full responsibility for this. So if you do not like it, it is all on me. I did everything, including the typos. No, there's no typos, I promise. But yeah, so Jupiter is it's my comic book. It's 40 pages, full color for $13. Domestic shipping is only $8 for shipping and handling, all that kind of stuff. The book is in demand. So the campaign ran for 2 months, fulfilled within a month. The whole camp from the beginning of the campaign to the end of fulfillment was 110 days. So it was a roller coaster. I had a great time. I met fantastic people. It's a wonderful community we have out here, all these indie creators and the people who are championing indie creators, in addition to kind of pointing out some of the problems with corporate culture.
It looks great, and like you said, and I think you also mentioned it on one of you on I think this website or something else. You kind of stylized it after Kirby, so you kind of have like a Kirby style So it seems like that's your go-to. That's one's your favorite inspiration. Is that true?
Yeah, definitely. So the first comic book I ever bought with my own money was Captain America 214, which was Jack Kirby's last issue of Captain America. And I know I had seen comic books around, right? And I knew who Batman and Spider-Man were. But that was my grandmother said, "Hey, go pick out a comic book." And I went to the spinner rack, and the artwork just popped off the page. So everybody's aware pretty much that two-dimensional art is always an optical illusion. The artist is creating the illusion of depth, space, volume, and so forth. But what was unique about comic books and Jack Kirby in particular is he was also creating the optical illusion of movement and dynamism and energy, and it just enthralled me. So I mean, while you could say that the painters of the Renaissance were masters of perspective, masters of landscape, masters of fabric, comic books, particularly Jack Kirby, masters of movement, motion, energy, dynamism. So that began like a lifelong love of the medium. So in the pages of Jupiter, in that world, Jack Kirby is basically a revered Walt Disney figure. So in the world of Jupiter, he continued to publish with Joe Simon the mainline comics. So Joe Simon and Jack Kirby had their own publishing company in the 50s. It went out of business after like a year and a half due to distribution reasons. But the conceit of Jupiter is that in this world, they continued to publish mainline comics. And because he did not have to go back to Marvel and DC and he owned mainline comics, Jack Kirby prospered. He owned his own characters. His most famous character in this world is Captain Kleinbottle, who starts out like an astronaut, like a Sky Masters astronaut figure. But because Jack Kirby did not have to go back to Marvel and DC in the world of Jupiter, all of the crazy ideas that he came up with for Marvel and DC, he put them into this Captain Kleinbottle character. So all the dynamism and all the excitement of the Silver Age, he prospered from, and basically he's like a Walt Disney figure in that world. So there's about in each issue of Jupiter, it's going to be 40 pages. There's going to be 5 or 6 pages where I draw in Jack Kirby's style. And so you can see that character, Captain Kleinbottle. I'll look at some Kirby art with like Joe Stinnett inks or Chick Stone inks, and I'll try to replicate that art style. Like that's my normal art style right here. There's other artists like Tom Scioli and Ladron, the Mexican artists, who will kind of ape that Kirby style. But I've got a storytelling purpose to do it because these are the Jack Kirby comics in my world. So have a lot of fun doing it.
That's pretty cool. And so you made your own world. You how was that? Like I could never imagine like thinking, okay, I gotta like make my own little world. I gotta put my own little characters, my own like how describe that process, like how you started making a world.
So what I wanted to do with Jupiter is I wanted to be like a normal. So a problem with modern comic books is that they're too crowded. Meaning, if you pick up a Marvel or DC comic nowadays, it's like take your superhero to work day. It's wall to wall heroes, and they're not special because there's no normal people, right? Because the dramatic tension is between just as an example. Perry Mason, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen, they're there as the human, the human perspective, and they look up to Superman, and they're like, "Wow, it's amazing what he's doing up there. He's flying around. He can do all these things." If you open up like an X-Men or an Avengers or whatever, they're all superheroes, and they've got a superhero now called Soft Serve. And I don't know if you're aware of this, but there's a Marvel. I'm not joking. The fact checkers can fact check me. There's a Marvel character called Soft Serve. She's a mutant and she poops ice cream, right?
No way.
I'm not joking. I'm not joking. You can check that out. So, but the point being, they have gone so far in that direction that for Jupiter, what I wanted to do is I want to tell a story where my character, my heroine, is the only superhero in that world. Now, in that world, they may read comic books, so I've got that bit of texture. But she's the only superhero. Now there's threats from other worlds that are going to start popping in and so forth. But I wanted those around her to look at her and be like, wow, this is amazing what she can do. And what choices are she going to make as she takes her journey from being like a normal teenager to becoming her world's first, only and greatest superhero. So I knew it was going to be like a normal world with no superheroes. Maybe in the media there were superheroes, but no superheroes. There'd be super villains coming in. But then the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to say, because the world is so hosed right now. I'm like, I want to make a world worth saving. I want to make a world where like the average person is like a good person. They're sober, they're industrious. It's a good world. It's a world you would want to visit too, right? It's not San Francisco with fentanyl zombies and stuff like that. So my world in Jupiter is a nice place you wish you could visit. And by golly, you sure hope they can save that world as it's threatened by extraterrestrial
cool.
villains. You're like, man, I sure hope they could save this world because it's a nice place. I would want to spend time there.
Now,
those are kind of that went into my world building.
Okay, all right, and so you have no plan for any other new superheroes.
That is correct. Yeah, in the main story in Jupiter, this character here, she is going to be the only superhero. Now, you can see there's like a hole in reality opening up. There's going to be plenty of villains coming in. The stakes are going to continue to rise, but there's only one. There's going to be only one hero. Now she may pick up a comic book and read some of Jack Kirby's characters for inspiration and guidance.
Okay.
But no, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be. Take your superhero to work day in my comics.
Okay, so Nadia says she wants to have that superpower. She poops soft serve. Maybe he can write you in, but not as a superhero, but just someone that does it.
Nadia, it's important to have goals, but then you got to find the right fella. Not every guy's going to go for that, but definitely it's important to have goals.
Now you said that you have the humans looking up to Superman and going in awe. Now in DC, sometimes you have he's not really a superhero, but he's like Batman, like Bruce Wayne. He's more of he's not really super, but he does kind of hero things. Do you plan on having anything like that in your comic?
I not necessarily, no. My take on Batman is that he's strongest when he's an urban legend. When the people in the DC universe are scared at night walking home from work, they look up at the rooftops and they're like, I don't really know if that's Batman guy is real, but I sure as hell hope he's up there. Because I'm looking down the alley and it looks like there's some hoodlums down there and the cops are nowhere to be seen. So I think that's when Batman works best.
You're right. Urban legend. Yeah, you are absolutely right, because if you noticed in the Batman 89, that was kind of how he started, right? He was kind of like, no one really knew who he was, and it was like, oh yeah, it's just some freaky show, like that's not real. And then when they do come across, he kind of haunts their dreams.
because Batman is as resourceful as he is. He's just one guy and so he's most effective when he's a deterrent to crime, because the bad guys think twice about pulling any baloney, because he might be up there on the rooftops. And those people that feel like they're being impinged upon, they're getting claustrophobic in the city. They're hoping that urban legend about the Batman, I sure hope he's out there.
Well, it sounds like a fun story, your book.
Thank you.
I missed the first campaign, so I was actually considering picking one up. I did notice you have a commission for a Kirby homage, so that's pretty cool. That'd be neat to kind of see. But you said when backstage, you said you are working on number 2 and it's almost done.
So as you mentioned, the book, the campaign's over. The book is in demand, meaning if somebody out there checks it out, they look at the campaign, if they order it, the book shipped the following day. I ship them out, and it's like $8 shipping and handling, U.S. domestic. But what's cool is we satisfy both of the stretch goals. So if you order the book, it's 40 pages full color for $13. You also get these 2 stretch goals. The first one is a Captain Kleinbottle fan club membership. And again, Captain Kleinbottle is that Jack Kirby inspired character on the back of the comic. So this is as if there was a fan club in that universe, and it's sponsored by a pie company. And then on the back of the fan club membership card, it's a very important message. The message is, if you're not part of the problem, you are the solution. So those people out there that are telling you that you need to get in line and you need to live life their way in order for you to be the solution, you just need to say, hey, listen, I work hard. I take care of my family. I get home, I want to read comic books, watch movies, play video games. I am the solution to the world's problems, right? And then the other stretch goal that we unlocked was the official Legion of Memers license to meme.
Nice.
So if you are out there and you're concerned about the meme police, if you want to get stopped at a meme checkpoint, you're going to want to have this. So if you order Jupiter, you get an official license to meme for the Legion of Memers. And then on the back side is a reminder that life is too short for bad comic books, so we all need to watch.
That's really cool. That's really cool. And yeah, that's cool that you have that those little perks. That's really neat. Now when do you feel like you'll have number 2 coming out?
So each issue is 40 pages. I have 5 pages ready to color. I have the entire book scripted and thumbnailed. And I went through 4 revisions of the second issue. So the dialogue is it's perfect. It's tuned up, right? It's perfect. And then just this week, I did about 4 panels. So if I'm plugging away, I'm doing about a page a week, getting it finished. I anticipate that the campaign will go live probably February, March, and then it'll be fulfilling in April or May of next year.
Okay. Well,
and I still got a couple more years at my day job, but my goal is to put out 1 or 2 of these a year, and then when I retire, be able to put out 3 or 4 of these a year. So if you check out Jupiter, jump on board, because I'll be bringing these out annually, a couple times a year. And then you're getting in on the ground floor of what promises to be a good journey.
That's really cool. And it's cool it's really nice to support like indie artists, right? Like you said. So it goes, it's going to someone that's really passionate about what they're doing, and they're not just either doing what some corporate head is telling you and things like that. So you know what, with all this great news, and he comes out every now and then, you get a cap dance.
Hey, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I do collect Captain America lunchboxes.
Oh wow!
Well, I should have mentioned this to try to get on the show earlier, but simple things make me happy, and one of them is Captain America lunchboxes. So if you're going to collect something, collect something utilitarian. So do we have like 2 minutes to look at these?
Yeah, we could. Okay. Yeah, we could.
So this is the first one I got, right? Okay. Now hold on a second.
As you can tell, I have something, just enough collection behind me. So that's cool.
So this beauty may be a Steve Root. Oh no, maybe it's not Steve Root. But anyways, this one I got at Walgreens. I don't know why they were selling it at Walgreens. So there's the Kirby there. That's either a Romita or a Steve Root. I'm not totally sure.
Okay. Very cool. Oh, more.
All right, here's another Kirby.
That's neat. Now, where are you finding these at? Are these original or just?
So I basically about 15, 20 years ago, I think I got this one online. And then from there, I'm like, oh, this is so cool. I can put art supplies in here and all that kind of stuff. So basically, I keep an eye out for it. So sometimes it'll be at the comic book shop. Sometimes they'll be at Walgreens, and sometimes I'll order them on eBay. So
I like how they're metal. I like how they're metal, because that's like it's really like old school lunchbox.
And this is like it's like bolded, so these like popping out. So hang tight. I'm gonna grab more. Hold on.
Okay. Well, this is fantastic. This is great. That did not know that he had these.
So this one's not really super exciting, but
hey, it's a shield, right? And we all know that the shield is the one thing that there you go. All right, that's cool.
So some great Kirby stuff here.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I got a couple more. Hold on.
Oh, this is great. This is fantastic. Hope everyone's seeing this. This is pretty cool. And again, thanks everyone for stopping by. Make sure you hit the like. And if you're new and you stumbled across the live stream, please subscribe. That'd be great. Oh, wow. That's a Winter Soldier one.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
One last one. Look at that.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Oh, yeah.
But I like it because, they're metal. They're going to last forever. A lot of it's Kirby art. And then I can, I've got the excuse of I need to store stuff. So there you go.
There you go. Yeah, that you need to put stuff somewhere, and so that's a good way to do it. So that's really neat. I'm glad you have a collection like that. That's pretty cool. It helps people, I believe, if you have something like that to kind of have on the side to collect, either if it's lunch boxes or Beanie Babies or something. It's always good. Look at that tiny one.
I know, this one's great. This one's got like my favorite. I've got my favorite photographs in here. Just like So funny story. My comic book, my LCS, he knows that I collect the Captain America lunchboxes.
Okay.
So he goes, I got something that might make you stray from your narrow, stay out of your narrow lane. And I go, what? And he goes, I've got a Galactus lunchbox. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Galactus, insatiable appetite. And I'm like, show it to me. And it was big. It was like this big. And I'm like, damn. I'm like, a Galactus lunchbox. That's brilliant. But I'm like, no, I better, because then
you just get into everything.
Yeah, exactly. So if I stick to Captain America, I'll be solid. But
so Naomi says that she has lunch boxes for her makeup.
Nice.
I wonder what character she has on there. And then we got Matthew W saying, Cap the Legend, love the shirt. Yeah, thanks, man. It says USA on it. Cool. Yep, really cool shirt. But yeah, it's neat to see that you have that. That's pretty cool. Now, before we get on to some of the shenanigans that happens on this show, there's something really cool happening tonight. I just want to make sure everyone knows about it. So after this, don't leave now. You could go after the show. But apparently there's going to be the brightest moon of the year is tonight. Very big. It literally happens, I think, once a year. And it's supposed to happen like right around probably now, but don't run out and go yet. Just stay here and watch, and you go out later. I'm sure it'll still be there. But yeah, it's supposed to be the biggest supermoon of the entire year. Have you ever seen a supermoon before?
Is that the apogee? Is that what they call it when it gets its closest?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen it big. I don't know if I've seen it. I usually take an after dinner walk, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, so blue moon appears about every 2.5 years, while supermoons are far more rare. If you miss this one, the next blue supermoon won't reappear for another 9 years. Okay. So it's a blue supermoon.
Blue supermoon.
Yeah.
Cool.
I thought that was neat. I always try to. That came out like right away, right on Instagram. So I was like, oh well, I'll make sure to. Yeah, blue moon is what it's called. Yeah. Nadia says sun isn't even fully down here. Well, you can see it later. I know you're on the West Coast, so let's see here. The blue moon, and it won't happen until 2037. Oh, okay, a lot can happen since then till then. So go out and see it. Nadia says my husband is a huge Captain America fan to us. Yeah, and you and your husband will be on my show next week. So yeah, we'll talk more about Captain America. So, let's see. Meet Wadzilla says Comic-Con. Do you go to any Comic-Cons by chance?
I've been to local conventions. I don't have any plans to go to Comic-Con. I would imagine maybe a couple years from now when I've got more issues out. But it'd be nice to go there when I've got like the first 3 out to kind of pick up some new readers and so forth.
Okay. Let's see here. Nadia says, can't you buy a blue moon at a liquor store? Yeah, you can.
Gotta put a little orange in it too.
Yeah, you can. And then there's other alcoholic beverages that you can buy that have moons in them. So I'm sure you can drink that while you're watching the moon. Let's see. Good question about Comic-Con. Okay, yeah. I've been to a few, but it sometimes gets a little too crowded of comics and people, and sometimes you don't know who the real artist is there. So I don't go too much, but I like to look for people like you. Like if you're showing that you're on Indigo or you're something that like you're passionate about your work, you like to talk about it. I'm more interested in that. So. All right. So normally what we do on Late Night with Cap is I've been trying this thing where I show some product out there that could benefit your life. And I've recently found this. You might have seen it, but I recently seen this person on Instagram that fit right in to for as seen on. So it's summertime, right? And we're all hot and sweaty, and we're looking for something to get cool off with. So this guy, he invented this like fan for your shirt. You kind of stick it. There's like this thing on your belt, and it kind of just does. Would you wear this? Would you wear this contraption?
Maybe if I was like out like mowing the yard or something like that. I don't know if I could go to. I don't think
He's super excited about this product, by the way.
It's $1 million idea.
Yeah, isn't that cool? Yeah, he's just like, look, and then
yeah, I can imagine there's possibilities there.
Oh yeah, he has a whole Instagram if you want to follow him. I think he's got a whole Instagram here. So where here's a video where he's just like, walking around town with it. Yeah, I'm gonna butcher his name. It's Sivua, I think his name is, but I probably butchered it. But yeah, he's standing there keeping cool.
It's certainly a conversation starter.
Yeah, he just hey, how's it going? Yeah, he's just walking around.
It's like, dude, do you have a xenomorph popping out of your gut? What's going on? But I think I got my wife the thing you put around your neck that's got fans. Have you seen that?
Those are great. Yeah, those are great.
And she liked that. I mean, she doesn't use it all the time, but when she is gardening, she'll put it on. But I don't know that. I think that guy's inventions might provoke more questions than it'll answer.
Yeah, especially if you had like a really long shirt, I don't think it would go very well, but yeah. Yeah, I thought that was funny and convenient that if you live in a hot place and you need to cool yourself off, I thought that would be a good product for everyone to kind of check out. Again, if you buy it and you don't like it, don't come to me. I'm not paid by these people.
Don't shoot the messenger people.
We did have a comment. How can we buy the comic?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. So you have two options for that. Yeah. So I shared one of the link to the Indiegogo, but you have another area too.
Yep. Fund My Comic. Fund My Comic is a site that got stood up about a year ago or so. It's run by Luke Stone, and there's and potentially he wants to eventually get game developers on there and so forth. So if you go to Fund My Comic and search for Jupiter, you'll see it. But most people are getting it through Indiegogo.
Yeah, and if they go to your Twitter account, they can get the links all there too.
Yeah.
I'll show that one more time. So Nicole, you can follow Jason at Jason_Sandberg, and then he has all his links there. And again, it's in the chat, and it's also going to be in the description below. But if you want to use that if you want to go see both and see which one you want to buy, I mean, I'm not telling you which one to do, but you can do it. So yeah, you get this cool little memer card.
They say don't swim naked. You also don't want to meme without a license. So you'll want to get Jupiter. And this is in conjunction with the official Legion of Memers. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, hopefully Nicole, you got that. So yeah, you can go there. All right. So now more funny stuff happening. So as you said backstage, you have watched the show before and you really enjoy the bad graphic design so much that it drives you kind of nuts and it makes you want to scream at the screen. And so we have more of those tonight for you. So we're going to go over some of those. All right. So here you go. Here's the Cap of America where he's just, is this you when you're screaming at
That's me. It's saying, guys, your job is to communicate. You're not communicating properly.
Yeah, and most people don't notice it, but if you are one of those people that like to look at typos, yes, the word design is misspelled on purpose because that's the purpose of the segment. All right, so the first one here is perfect for you and me to find an Avengers shirt. But I didn't know Avatar characters were part of the Avengers. I guess they're letting anybody in.
This to me screams the People's Republic of China. This screams somebody is in a country that doesn't honor trademark, copyright. They're mishing and mashing up anything they can sell.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can get this at Target. I'm sure this was taken at Target. Yeah, this is one of those I come across these a lot where you see either a toy or something where it says like Batman and then the character in it is Darth Vader.
I had a friend, my friend James, went to China on a for school reasons. Came back and he had an edition. He had a Chinese pirated copy of Harry Potter where Gandalf was Harry Potter's dad and like R2-D2 and C-3PO were at Hogwarts. And I'm like, this is amazing. This is amazing.
It is amazing. It's great. Now, again, if someone was wearing this shirt around town or at a Comic-Con or at a meetup, I would totally take a picture with them and say kudos for even venturing out in the world with this. They got one of the three right on the Avengers there. I thought that was pretty funny. So as you can tell, the theme of this going back, bad graphic design, is going to be clothes. So I have more for you. The next one, this one was sent to me by a few people out there in the theme park world. But this is one sweater you don't want to tie around your back.
Yeah, I saw this. This is almost as bad as those. There was that photograph of the gymnasts in the very poorly designed skin tight suits. This is just, this is a horror. Somebody should have taken a second look at the prototype before they manufactured millions.
Yeah, because a lot of people wear their sweaters like this, right? Especially at theme parks, right? They get hot and then they have to like tie it up. Why would you do this? Poor Mickey Mouse. Yeah, hopefully he can get out soon about that. So you saw this one on what's probably Twitter or something somewhere?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a hoot out of it.
Yeah, I think this one was sent to me from Rogue Attraction. He's always in the park, so he sees all kinds of weird stuff. I don't know if he saw this in person, but he has seen some other weird designs. All right, so the next one here is this guy bought a shirt with a record player on it, and then he tried it on.
What he needs to do is he needs to get that other guy's shirt fan so that it can be flopping up and down.
Yeah, that you're absolutely I didn't even think about that. You're right. He could get the thing that pushes it out, and he has this shirt on, and he would be the like most epic dude ever on the internet. He would probably get like all kinds of followers.
The poor guy is like, why won't anyone swipe right on Tinder? I've got this fantastic photograph of me by the closet with my new shirt. It's just not getting any traction.
You should do a video, like I said, with that fan thing. I think he would be perfect. It would be perfect for that. All right, so now I got one for you, and this is a person on the news where she made the worst, I would say the worst decision on her shirt. But yeah.
This is when you know that you have burned all the bridges with the makeup people and the hairstylists at the news station. This is a testament that behind the scenes, this lady is terrible to people, because nobody stopped her from getting on camera with that shirt.
Yeah, there are a few people that do watch the show that are in the news world, and they have told me sometimes these mistakes just happen, but I don't know. I think this one was on purpose.
Well, this looks to me like some sort of commie. This is some sort of commie country down here. I don't recognize those letters.
No, I don't know the right letters either. I don't know where it's from, but it was on a nice site that I got this from. So yeah, it was interesting when I came across it.
In Russia, the bloopers find you.
Yeah. You know what? The producer's probably backstage, literally going.
So.
Although it would be a good Tinder picture.
It would be a good one. It would.
Yeah,
it would be good. So yeah, bad graphic design just doesn't happen with pictures. It also happens with your clothes, people. So be aware of what you wear.
Yeah, we're 3D beings. It isn't.
Yeah, make sure you look at a mirror. Make sure what you're wearing is
and now
not
I'm
going to
like,
get you on my show.
Now I'm like getting all self-conscious about my background here. Is there anything?
Yeah, HR will definitely have some questions on that one. Yeah, you're right. No. Yeah, I'm glad that you found those funny because
good stuff.
I always like that's what one of my favorite parts of the show is background design, because the reason why I had this show was because I wanted to break away from some of the stuff that we always talk about in the world on social media and just laugh at stuff. Laughing helps the soul, and I think laughing makes you feel good. So hopefully everyone gets a little chuckle out of these silly pictures that I show every Wednesday.
Absolutely.
So all right, so I'm gonna plug something of mine for a little bit, take a little break here. But as you all know, if you want to support the channel, you can definitely hit the like and share and also sub. But I also, if you want to, support me in other ways, I do have t-shirts out there on mixtees.com. You can check them out. You can get a tank top, a t-shirt, and now a hoodie when it's getting colder. And so as fall's coming around, so you can check those out. And you can definitely also get a mug to put your hot cocoa in. So
nice.
There you go. Yeah. So it's cool. The guys over at the Popcast Bros channel helped me out to set this up, so I really appreciate that. So again, yeah, if you the only thing though, I don't get notified right away if someone purchases something. So if you do, it'd be great if you take a picture of it, share it, and show me, because I would like to see it. So hey, look at that.
I might get one of those cat mugs, Late Nite cat mugs to go next to my Superman.
Yeah, it would go right with your lunch boxes.
It would work.
It would. All right. So now we wanted to kind of discuss. I wanted to discuss because there's a lot of big news about somebody's mugshot.
Mm-hmm.
So it made me go, okay, there's a lot of other celebrities out there, and what their mugshots are. And I'm thinking, okay, well, who else is famous out there in the world that has gotten mugshots? And when I asked you this question about this, and this will be our main topic, and this is some famous people in history and their mugshots. So I'm going to go through a slideshow here, but you were surprised with some of them. And
I was, yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't like celebrities. These are iconic, I guess, according to this site, they're iconic figures in history that had mugshots. So I thought it'd be funny to go through these and so on. So
yeah, there's celebrities and there's celebrity dictators.
Yeah.
So I think one thing out of the gate, something I want to mention is that, to some extent we are such a poorer country, because look at the richness of the analog film, the richness of the deepness of the photo. This is a photograph, right? You look at the Trump mugshot, it looks like a very pixelized, very shallow, very washed out. Doesn't have the depth. Doesn't have the depth of these true film mugshots. I think we're a poorer country for it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think digital photo in some cases kind of sometimes they do look great, like on when on screen, they like in HD, like they look, wow, look at the colors and stuff like that, especially like scenery. But when you get to like certain things, it's like it's better on film, and that goes to like movies too. For example, I saw a few movies in the 33 millimeter where it was like Interstellar and a couple others, and I was like, wow, it just looked like a better movie.
The Trump mugshot, it didn't have the numbers behind his head. I'm like, this looks
the new one.
What it looks like is, it looks like when you go to the fair and you go down the water slide, they take your picture on the way down. It was like that. This isn't a mugshot.
Mugshots don't really have numbers anymore, to be honest. So not a lot of new ones. So this was David Bowie.
We used to be a proper country.
We took good mugshots. This is David Bowie, and he got busted for marijuana in 1976. So
isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing now to think back then you could get arrested for that. Now you can't go get a coffee. To deal with somebody who's high, right?
Yeah, you can't even smell it. Yeah, but he had it on him. Apparently his charges disappeared. So whatever that means. But yeah, and then he looks a little different there. And then we have this is Pablo Escobar before he must have been real into what he was doing. This one is another iconic figure, turned into a pretty bad guy. But you can tell he enjoyed this picture. This is 1977.
Became public enemy #1, and used his narco wealth to buy off judges and curry favors, and he was basically a celebrity. It was basically a celebrity in, I think it was Colombia, and I don't know if it was, I forget the name of the guy who wrote Black Hawk Down wrote a book called Killing Pablo. And it was basically I don't know if it was the CIA or who, it was American assets trained the Colombian squad that hunted him down and shot him like a dog.
Yeah, there was a TV show on Netflix, I believe.
Okay.
Narco, that covered that whole process. I thought that was pretty cool. So
and Pablo was played by. I'm doing the Netflix joke. You're supposed to say like you're supposed to say Vivica A. Fox played Pablo or whatever.
Oh no, I don't remember who played Pablo, to be honest. Maybe someone can help me out there. The artistry of mugshots has truly been lost. Beard says.
Beard of Liberty. We used to be a proper country.
Yeah, Narcos is a great show.
So is Narcos about Pablo?
Yeah, the first season is. So I think the first 2 seasons, I believe. It's got the guy from, oh man, I'm using his name because I don't watch that show. The guy from Mandalorian in it.
Okay.
So he's the main cop, and then you have Pablo. So they have like this cat and mouse type thing.
And aside from like having people killed, and aside from buying off judges and stuff like that, he would also use his wealth, I think, to build like soccer stadiums and stuff like that. Yeah. And it was like, okay, we'll take the good with the bad. And we'll
Pedro Pascal is the cop or the DEA agent in the show. So, but a lot of the stories in the show are based on real events.
Sure.
They'll show like actual news photo. Here we go. Look at my wonderful chat. Pablo played by Wagner Mora.
All right.
Yeah. So that meme you see where like a dude with curly hair is like sitting on the swing all sad and he's standing by the pool.
Is that what that's from?
That's from that.
You know what? I got a show topic for you.
Sure.
A show topic is all the memes of like the girl, the young lady who looks like Senator Warren's niece, who's like the meme of the liberal chick, and then the meme of the guy who looks like kind of like a turtle. He looks like Andy Dick with a ski cap. He's having a meltdown. You should do a show with these people who are quintessential memes with a where are they now and are they okay? And what is it like? And it kind of it's tangential to the graphic design thing, but it's like you accidentally, someone took a picture and it got memed to hell, and now you're like iconic, but nobody actually knows who you are or if you're okay.
Yeah,
let's try to find these people.
Yeah,
are
it's
you
like that
okay?
Little girl with the weird face where she's got like the scrunched. Yeah, she's a lot older now. But Joker says Pablo was responsible for hippos and being in Mexico. Okay, did not know that. Here's Kurt Cobain in 1986.
Yeah.
So this is right before he's hit it big with his music career. But he was busted for I guess trespassing while intoxicated.
It comes down to like your choices in life. I mean, you could be in 1986, you could be on the top of a building getting drunk, and your next few decisions are going to determine: do you join Antifa or do you start a rock band? And those, you could go either way in life. And he made the right decision, didn't make some good decisions in 1994, but really.
Well, there's a whole rabbit hole we can do a whole show on about what I think about what happened to him.
Courtney.
So let's see here. We got Rosa Parks. So most time you hear her, about her story about being at the back of the bus. But I believe this is the when she was arrested during that boycott. So 1956. Yeah. So this is her again. She looks dressed nice. A lot of them, the other ones, they were kind of scrub looking. You could tell they were in trouble, but she's just looking like a normal person, and now she's a famous mugshot. So.
It's interesting to see her, as a kind of as this American hero, and to look at kind of like the serenity in her face, and it's sort of like when they were doing the bus boycotts, little did they know how successful they would be, what kind of changes it would bring to America. And then later in life, she was living in, I think she was living in Chicago, and some hoodlums broke into her apartment. Right. So before she passed away, she was in the news again because she was the victim of random hoodlum crime.
Yeah.
But she is an American hero. She and Martin Luther King, all those who participated in nonviolent passive resistance to end segregation and some of the weaker points in American history. Kudos to them.
Yeah.
Wish her the best. She's a hero. Just sad that she got home invaded.
Yeah, it's same with MLK. It's sad what happened. It's just they showed you how to make your thought meaningful. Like when you have violence or something behind it, most people are very turned off by it. So here's another great artist or singer, Johnny Cash. And this was when he was arrested in El Paso, Texas.
Is this where he shot a man just to watch him die?
This is where he shot a man? I don't know, but he was carrying he was carrying hundreds of pet pills and tranquilizers.
Doesn't look like he's using pet pills. So I can pull together. I can pull the strings together. Did you know that young Mr. Johnny Cash here? Did you know that he was the first American to know that Stalin died? Did you know that? So in the army, I think he was in Germany. He was a telegraph. He was a telegraph or Morse code decipherer or whatever. He was in the Signal Corps or whatever. And when in 1953, when Stalin died and the Soviet Union was wiring to the embassies to warn them, hey, good news, Stalin's dead, no purges now. Khrushchev's in charge. He intercepted it, transcribed it, and read it and said, oh my God, Stalin's dead. So, and we will be getting to Stalin a bit later, but I think it's some interesting synergy to tie these together.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. We are going to show his here soon. But yeah, Johnny Cash, tranquilizer, whatever.
So do you take the tranquilizers before or after the pet pills?
I don't know. I have no idea why you would even have any of that, but he had hundreds. So he was going to sell them. But yeah, if you go back, it was because he got arrested on the Juarez, Mexico border. If you ever been in New Mexico or El Paso, it's not very hard to even see that border, especially back then.
They don't arrest anybody nowadays.
Yeah, Juarez is a place to go to get prescription. Yeah, it's been for years. So here's the one that you were mentioning before that you actually in a private message. Like, I did not even know this, and this is Joseph Stalin arrested in St. Petersburg in 1911. Now this is a pretty. This looks like a rap album.
It does look like a rap album. It's like what's the so I'm aware of Stalin's criminal record, and I'd seen this mugshot before, and I think that I can't decipher that, but he did have like a cloven foot, like one of his foots was he had toes that were fused together, so that kind of underscores the thing that he's like the Antichrist devil, but it was Mussolini. But we'll get to Mussolini in a minute. I had no idea Mussolini had been.
Oh, that's right. The other evil dictator.
but this picture of Stalin, this does provoke a line of inquiry, and now we're dealing with counterfactuals. But the deal is that the Bolsheviks, many of them were arrested by the Tsar's police and were imprisoned in the Tsar's like labor camps and things like that. And when you think about the fact that Lenin and Stalin did time in Tsarist Russia, but they got out of custody, right? They served their time. What kind of world would it be had the Tsar been a little more brutal And had he just snuffed these guys out, like would it be a better world if the Tsar had just said, you know what, you guys, you're no good. You're irredeemable. I'm gonna and the Tsar would be a bad guy.
It goes down to the same thing. Like, if certain other people in the world were either had a different end of their life or removed in some way before they did their deeds, how different would we be? So
yeah,
you never know.
And when you think about history, so Stalin, killed 30. I think it was 30 million of his own people.
Mm-hmm.
Stalin killed more Marxists in the Soviet Union than anywhere else, right? And then he instigated all these purges. He subsidized Mao Zedong in China, right? So you could make the argument that when he was arrested here, had the Tsar's police just taken him out, history would have played out differently. And same with Lenin,
most likely.
But then it's like, okay, well, there's that immediate tragedy, and we don't want that, right? We think people are redeemable, but maybe they're not, And so I don't know which way to go, but it does, when you see something like this and you say, hey, what was this, 1911? It could have been nipped in the bud right there.
Yeah,
right? If we had known what this guy was going to do, and the downstream effects with having all the Warsaw Pact countries basically living under totalitarianism for 2 generations, if we could avoid that just by taking this guy out, and then the unmitigated audacity of him doing time in the Tsarist prison, getting out 20 years later, creating this gulag system with terrible conditions and killing people. It's like, dude, you had the Club Med of Tsarist prisons, and here you are setting up the gulag, and you're basically your forced labor camps and stuff like that. So it's stuff to ponder, and I think you don't think about it until you see something like this, and it kind of smacks you upside the head.
It does. So yes, I beat Jason Todd with a crowbar, shot Barbara Gordon, set Gotham on fire numerous times. Does that make me evil?
Yes.
Yeah, it does. Sorry, Joker.
I don't know if the police should shoot you, but yeah, you're a bad guy, Joker.
Yeah. So here's another. This one's famous. A lot of people have seen this one. This is Charles Manson. When he was arrested in 1969 over the murders of Sharon Tate. So this one's another famous. A lot of movies have been based off this photo, this person, this genre of era in that time period. The last movie I think they did something, a nice little spin on, which I thought was pretty neat, was Once Time in Hollywood, where they saved the day, and he did not get the chance to murder Sharon Tate, and I thought that was great. So I thought that was a pretty fun spin on that tale. But yeah, this one's another.
And
what was up with the 60s and all these cults, by the way? They all started in the 60s.
So I think some of it was fallout from MK Ultra, and some of it was the drug use. But when you look at this mugshot and you see those eyes, we've all seen those eyes. We've all gone to the bus stop to wait for the city bus, and you got a guy there with those eyes, right? And the question is, it's an important question. What is it that takes the guy with the crazy eyes at the bus stop and turns him into a cult leader versus just the guy with the crazy eyes at the bus stop?
I don't know how people follow these people either. I don't get it.
I think it was he was preying upon people that were kicked out of home. He would sweep together all the losers, right? People who were kicked out of their parents' house, people couldn't hold down a steady job. He had like a crash pad, he had food, he had drugs.
Yeah, they kind of showed that in that movie where like he could have been hanging out, and
and he wrote he traded, I think he sold a song to the Beach Boys. I think it was he wrote a song called Cease to Resist, I think, and they changed the words, but he was mad because he wanted to sell more. He wanted more money. So he's like on a lark, one of the Beach Boys bought a song from him, and then they couldn't get him to shut up, and they were trying to ghost him. And he was getting more and more mad because he's like wanted to sell more songs because he needed the money. So there's a whole, in addition to the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino could have gone into a subplot where Charlie there is trying to find the Beach Boys.
Yeah. We mentioned him earlier, but this is Martin Luther King Jr. for this is when he was doing the boycotts in Montgomery, Alabama in 1956. So here he is. Here's
and again, compare the film quality, compare the lighting, compare the angle, the drama of this mugshot.
All these are great,
Trump.
by the way. Yeah. Like I said, like you said, the digital ones, it's just it's what looks more like a driver's license.
Yeah.
This one shocked me. I didn't know he got arrested, but this is we're gonna go a little quicker here. But this is Jim Morrison.
Yeah.
In 1963, he did all kinds of things in Florida. So this is before he had the long hair. And then we have this is a classic picture. You've probably seen this one a lot as well. Frank Sinatra, 1938.
What an interesting commentary to see what he was arrested for. I mean, he's
adultery and seduction.
So you read that and it's like it must have been with a woman whose husband had like a lot of influence or something like that. It's such a quaint. It's such a different time, right?
Yeah, it's just it really is, and I think this was right. This is when he was just getting started. So once he was on the peak of his career, I'm sure he never would have gotten arrested for any of that. So let's see here. This one, I do remember. But yeah, Bill Gates arrested in 1977. He did not stop at a stop sign and no license. So, I mean, it's good to see him. Maybe he can, Albuquerque. I didn't know he was in Albuquerque, but yeah, there he is there. This is Lee Harvey Oswald. We all know him, 1963. Again, great photos. If you go even in the 80s or in the 70s, like you can still see the graining of it. You can still tell that
there's a richness to the color.
Yeah, and you can see that. I'm not sure what he's wearing on his neck here. What is this? I'm not sure what that is.
Looks like it looks like hoodie. It looks from far away. It looks like tinfoil, but it looks like it's a weird Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
So Lee Harvey Oswald, the CIA now admits that he was an asset. We do not know if that means he was an informant or if he was a agent necessarily.
We're not. Yeah. You two don't take us down for this. Yeah. But yes.
Yeah. Someday we'll know. Someday we'll know. No one will know who JFK is by that time, but someday we'll know the truth about this gentleman.
Yeah, we'll see. I know he there was a lot of issues that he had from all kinds of his past careers in the military. So this one I always got a kick out of too. This is Tupac. I think we all remember him. It's 1995 here. So this is when he was kind of big into the rap scene. So again, another 90s photo that looks, I mean, you could, if you didn't know the year of this and you put it and you say, what year is it? Some people could say this was, 1950 something, because it's the way that it looks, right? Yeah. And then here's the famous O.J. Simpson, 1994, when he got
and
arrested.
this is a famous mugshot to the extent that I think it was either Time or Newsweek. When they printed it, they darkened it up. Do you recall that? They took,
maybe
this is black and white, but they took when they put it on the front of the newspaper or the magazine, they filtered it to make it look darker, right? So it was one of those subconscious things that they were doing to make it more.
I remember when this happened, and it was a shock to a lot of people. I mean, he was America's favorite in everything. Whatever he did, and I mean, this is equivalent to like someone like, I would say, like LeBron James doing something like this. This is how big O.J. Simpson was when he was arrested for the murder of his wife Nicole. So we haven't seen it. I don't think we've seen anything yet close to this, but yeah, this was pretty big when it happened. This is John Wayne Gacy, another clown here, Joker.
That's right.
You always see people when they do he's always got the clown face stuff on, but this is him in 1978. So, and he was actually executed in 94. Sorry, it's going to show an ad here, so we'll skip past it. And Sid here, 1978. That kind of looks like Joker. Joker looks like
a bit there, yeah. And Sid Vicious did play on 3 of the songs on the Sex Pistols album, but they buried it. They had they had Steve Jones play the dominant bass track, but he did play on 3 of the songs, but they buried it in the mix because he was such a bad player.
Interesting. Did not know that. Larry King, this one terrifies me. I mean, like, what is going on here? Like, what is he on?
I used to love Norm Macdonald when he would do the Larry King.
Look at
yeah.
How is he on the news?
It was a different time. So I mean, basically, Larry King is a quintessential right place at the right time. It's like 1978, 1979. They're like, we've got this thing called CNN, Cable News Network. What's that? It's on cable. What's that? They needed to fill time, and he had a talk show, and they said, hey, why don't you talk on TV? And next thing you know, because like literally blue ocean market, there's no competition. Larry King's there, and then everybody gets attached to him. And next thing you know, the guy,
who would give this guy? Look at this. I mean, this guy should not even be. Yeah, I don't know.
He was a radio. He was a radio. It was like a DJ.
Yeah,
He had an interesting career. I would say, who am I to judge? But never was so much done with so little.
Yeah, he terrifies. This terrifies me. This is not the Larry King I knew. So here's Lenin, another dictator that you mentioned. Yep. I do like his style of goatee. It looks pretty chill, but yeah, another character. This was in 1895, so yep. If he would have, who knows what would have happened if he didn't make it out of this prison that he was in. So
the 20th century would have been a lot different.
Yeah, I would say so. Here's this one's funny. This is Steve McQueen. He's giving the peace sign. Mm-hmm.
And again,
this was in Alaska, 1972. Drunk driving.
Well, and very interesting. He's arrested for a vehicular violation, and fast forward X number of years, and he gets hit by an oncoming car. It's kind of a weird. It's kind of a weird. It's a weird premonition. That he was also what the law was for.
Yeah, they also showed him in that movie Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. They showed his character in that one. Here's Jimi Hendrix. Got arrested. What? 1969. John Dillinger. This is like one of the most famous bank robbers in history in 1934 in Chicago. Let's see here. Then here's the one you were really surprised about, Mussolini.
Yes. So I was aware that Mussolini was a socialist. He was an Italian social democrat. He was a socialist, and basically he was radicalized by World War I, invented fascism as we know it, merger of the corporation and the state and all that kind of stuff, planned economy, became a protege of Hitler. I had no idea that he was arrested for being a little raving lunatic anarchist. I had no idea.
1903 in Switzerland. And the weird thing about this photo is there's something in the back of his head, like holding his head forward.
They would do that. Basically, that was a positioner there, because back then you the exposure time on the cameras it took longer to expose it or whatever. So they had something to get them in the right focal point and to not move. So it was like a little headrest. They back him into it. There's a couple others. I've seen other mugshots like that, but that was that was the purpose for that.
Yeah. Another what if happened if arrest Malcolm X here. That's an interesting photo there. But this was in 1944. He was 18 here.
As before he found the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, this one always cracks me up. This is John. I always see this one all the time. It's John Gotti. He's like, "Yeah, you got me." What? 1990.
I'm gonna coast.
Some say this is the last big mob boss to get arrested or in America at all. And here is Son of Sam, David Berkowitz. This 1977. There's a movie about this one too.
Was that a Spike Lee movie?
This is a crazy story in New York where people just didn't want to go outside. Yeah, huh? What was that? Yeah, there was a movie.
Was it a Spike Lee movie? Okay,
I believe so. Yeah, this was an interesting time because at a time when New York was also kind of chaotic. people
like now.
Yeah, but they didn't want to go outside because of this guy. Even though even criminals didn't want to go outside with this guy going around. So
it's kind of like Batman.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I didn't know about this either. This is Jane Fonda. She's got some type of cool fist.
Power.
Yeah. She was arrested with kicking a policeman in Cleveland in 1970.
Hanoi Jane.
She was also carrying vitamins, not illegal drugs, and insists that she was targeted by Nixon White House. Okay.
Probably because she went to North Vietnam and sat on anti-aircraft artillery, and when she met with American POWs in a photo op, they tried to slip her a note saying, "We are being tortured and beaten. Get us out of here." And she took the note and handed it to the North Vietnamese, and then those POWs got further beaten and tortured. So it's a free country, Jane. If you don't like the American policy, that's fine. Do not give aid and comfort to our enemies. Do not go to countries that we're at war with and sit on their anti-aircraft artillery and point it at American planes. And if an American POW who's a victim of circumstance gives you a note saying, "Get us the hell out of here," don't give it to the enemy.
Yeah. That's probably why she felt like she was targeted. Yep. And then we have Jeffrey Dahmer. We all know what he's done. Let's see here. But yep. And then we've got it's another old. This is like this is what we had the last mob boss, and this is what they say would classify him as the first American mob boss. This is Lucky Luciano, 1931. This is the famous picture that you always see of him, where he's got the lazy eye with the scarred face kind of look. After he got injured, and then you have Ted Bundy here. Oh, we all know who this one, what he's kind of done. A lot of you can see like in the eyes of the serial killers, you can really see that they're just kind of that blank stare, like I'm here. But the ones that I got arrested for something silly, or they know they're going to get out in a little bit, they're laughing and they're smiling. It's just interesting to see how who committed what and what they look like when they got their photo taken. And then here's another mobster. He's quoted for creating Vegas. This is Bugsy Siegel, 1928. And then Mick Jagger was arrested. Wonder what he did. What did he do?
Probably a drug bust.
He also got busted with Keith Richards and obstructing a police officer. Okay. All right.
Now he's been knighted. He's now a knight.
Yeah, so I guess I took this off his record. This one's funny. Hugh Grant. This almost ruined his career. 1995. Yeah, for prostitution. He literally almost lost his entire career. Now this is when they started getting digital a little bit.
Yeah, it was kind of washed out.
Yeah, or color, I would say.
But he's got the numbers. He's got the numbers there.
He does. Yeah. And then here's another famous mod boss, as we all know, Al Capone. 1930.
Go watch The Untouchables.
Yeah, Untouchables, and also Boardwalk Empire does a good storytelling of those characters. I have
not seen that.
It's loosely based off them. They changed some names, but the main core of all of them are in that show, and it's a really good show. So there you go. That's the ones we found. Now if this really fascinates everyone here in the chat, and you want to go look at there's a ton of celebrities who have mugshots, and you can literally go through this entire website, the smokinggun.com mugshot celebrities. I'll put it in the chat. You can literally go through names upon names and find like you have like DMX has got like quite a few of them. Like literally. Then you have like Heather Locklear's got 3 of them. So like if you click on them, it pulls up the image. There you go, there's Heather.
I tell you, dude, it's been like easily it's been 20 years since I've been to the Smoking Gun. I used to go to this website like once every few weeks.
Yeah, so there you go.
So I honestly I didn't even know it was still there. So
there's all kinds of stuff in here. There's this days upon days. Now, see, I'm from Arizona, and we had a sheriff, Sheriff Joe Aparo. Some may know that name. He, when websites first came online, he thought it would be a great idea to put mugshots of all the people on that website. So when they got arrested, he would put them. So you know who they were, and you kind of knew what they did. So if you saw them around town or whatever, you saw them later, you would know. But there was people caught wind of that website and went to it all the time. It was actually they started showing it on local news networks. it was wild. It was wild. So
that gets into that border, that kind of that realm of the process is the punishment.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Just because I've been arrested for something, I don't know, but.
Yeah, he did a lot of that. He wanted to humiliate the criminals. But that was fun. That was fun going through that topic there. Again, if you want to see more, you can definitely check out that website there, and it will show you a lot more. Now, before we wrap it up, we do also at the end of the show, we always kind of talk about Bigfoot. So I don't know if you have any stories or anything like that, but I do have something fun to share. For you.
So in the pages of Jupiter here, there is one panel that talks about Bigfoot right there.
Okay.
So it basically it's just one panel thing where I saw Bigfoot while walking home after listening to Art Bell in Third Shift.
Well, maybe issue. Maybe you could make it like a thing in every issue. I think that would I would like that. But before we get into what I'm going to show you, I have to do the intro. Everyone loves. Okay, so you can I remember from Watchmen there was like that there was like a comic within the comics that'd be kind of like a little Bigfoot story.
Could do that. Do you think, okay, so I'm of the school that it's not Bigfoot, it's Big Feet, because if there's one, there has to be two parents, right? Are you of the opinion that he's coming from like another dimension and we just see him when he intersects with this dimension?
No, I just think he's just a thing of nature that we can't really explain. I don't think he's from any parts of the other world. He just knows how to really hide really well. Like he's just.
Is there at any time, is there like one Bigfoot, or is there like four in the?
Oh no, they have families. We have seen on this show that they have families, they have conventions, they have hotels, they have towns and gas stations. So they're making money. They just don't you just don't know it. So speaking of something
like Ron Perlman.
Yeah, so they're like behind the scenes. They're like mafia. They're like running these things, and no one's telling you otherwise.
Okay.
But this is a map of. I found this where if you want, you could click on a map here. You can submit if you've seen Bigfoot. Let it load here. Hopefully, it loads on your side. Hold on. Let me share it again. But there, it opened up in a new tab. Don't you love that? Okay, here we go. So this is a map. So you can actually say what you've seen. You can submit what you've seen. It tells you sex of the wood knocks, vocalization where people have seen footprints. But if you can tell, there's a certain part of the country that they're really kind of seeing a lot in, and that's up here in the Washington area. And then a lot of it is right here in Kentucky, West Virginia. Some a little bit in my town, my little neck of the woods.
Yeah, it's interesting to look at the border there with Canada and be like, why is Bigfoot by and large honoring the international border between the United States and Canada? How does Bigfoot know?
I think this is just a U.S. map. I don't know. And you can down here in Miami. So, but yeah, I think it's just. But yeah, you can definitely dates and times. There's a legend here. So like. Last 10 days. So like 10 days ago, somewhere in northern right here, northern Indiana right here, you can see that someone spotted them in Charlotte, somewhere in North Carolina. Yeah, last 48 hours in the corner of New Mexico, Mississippi.
Interesting.
It's a cool little site.
Nothing in Mexico. Is that because the cartels are the cartels are?
I think it's just the map. I don't know. Like I don't know if there's another
Well,
map for
it is in Canada. He's in Canada. He's just not in Canada much, and he's not in Mexico at all. So is it a climate thing or is it the cartels?
Yeah, maybe. It also might be too hot.
And there's nothing in Cuba.
No. And if you look at the legend there, there's also this Bigfoot heat map, and if you can see, like the really white areas, it's Pittsburgh, oddly enough, and Portland.
Weird. So he likes he likes Philly cheesesteak sandwiches, and he likes the chap. He likes to hang out at the chap.
There you go. I put the link in the chat. If you want to go look, you can. I thought this was a great map.
Hold on a second. Have you cross-referenced this map against the wildfire maps? Like,
no. No.
What you should do it, because like what if Bigfoot is actually the one starting these damn fires?
He could be. He's like, get out of my house. Right. So I went on a trip last weekend, a few weekends ago, 2 weekends ago actually now, to Arkansas. Okay. And we actually drove up through this area up here to get to Arkansas. So I'm down here in East Texas, and I drove up this way to get up to here in around Fayetteville, Arkansas. Okay. So right in through here, there's a town called Broken Bow, and they have tons of Bigfoot stuff. There's like a Bigfoot convention there, restaurants, like every business there has some type of Bigfoot on it. So he might be hanging out here too. So it's very close to me. So hopefully I might go back there and check it out. Here's your question about Mexico. Mexican cartels are definitely using Bigfoot to smuggle drugs across the border.
Checks out.
So you can definitely check that site out. There was a classic map and this new cool map, but yeah, you can definitely submit your own report. We've had 2 people on the show where they've actually encountered him. I have 2 videos out of clips of that video of them talking about it. Danny and Jeff, they completely believe that they did encounter something of Bigfoot. And Jeff from Alaska, he wasn't in Alaska when he saw them, but he saw them twice. He needs to go to that website and put that in there.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a Bigfoot report. Always fun talking about that. Jason, this has been fantastic. This has been a great show. I love hearing about what creative people doing creative things. And I'm happy that you're getting some success there. And I hope you fulfill your dreams with your comic creation. Again, people, if you want to check him out, you can follow him at Jason Sandberg. And you can check out his comic 1 there of Jupiter. And you can follow him at his Twitter and get the link, but it's also in the description, but Indiegogo. And what was the other site again, one more time for me?
It's called Fund My Comic. And it's I know the man who started it and administers it. He's a good guy. It's trustworthy. But yeah, there's Indiegogo, and then there's Fund My Comic. And on the Indiegogo campaign, we're on the march to $8,800. So $8,800. I think we'll probably hit that well before the second issue launches. So yeah, we're in good shape. So thank you.
Everybody. Yeah. And thanks, Beard, for putting all that in the link. That'd be great. Yeah, not Twitter, X, whatever.
Yeah. I'm gonna call it. I still call it Twitter. So
most people still do, especially if they're not like on there a lot, right? And they're just out and they're just never really touching social media. They have no idea what you're talking about. So, but yeah, again, everyone, thanks for coming by. This was a great episode. I'm happy to learn more about Jason. Yeah, check him out. He's got a pretty cool. You're not on Instagram, but you're on Twitter, right?
Yeah, I'm most active on Twitter, and I have an Instagram account, but I haven't used it in forever. I focused on Twitter. At some point, as things calm down, I'll try to get more active there. But yeah,
it is what it is. Now, you've been on other panels where you talk about your comics too. So you just kind of go make the rounds. You get around.
I was very busy when during the 60 days of the campaign. I was very busy. There's this guy named Aldous who's kind of he's a good culture critic, and he's like dude, you were freaking everywhere. You busted your butt. And he goes, I found shows I didn't even know about because you were on them. So I was very busy. Yes, very busy.
Yeah. I remember seeing you. All right. Well, again, it was great having you on. Everyone, thanks for showing up tonight. If you haven't already, hit the like and share with your friends all this cool information. There you go. Look at that in the cool back cover there. All right, everyone, have a good night. It's been great. I'll see you next Wednesday on Late Night with Cap. See ya.